Welcome to the U World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, and transformational coaches being the change they seek in the world. If you'd like to be featured on our podcast to share what you're contributing to making the world a better place for us all, please go to www.jointheuworldorder.com. Be sure to like and follow our podcast for the latest episodes. Hi, and welcome to the U World Order Showcase podcast. I'm your host, Jill Hart, and with me today is Annabelle Ivaya. Okay, she looks to Annabelle for confirmation. Annabelle offers intuitive coaching and healing to people that are ready to step into their mission. Most of her clients have psychic abilities already, and they're just really ready to develop and anchor those. So welcome to the show, Annabelle. I'm really excited to chat with you about A, how you got into this, and B, what you're all about. So
Thank you for having me, Jill. It's a very pleasure to meet you here and connect with your audience. I've been, on my spiritual path for a very long time. I think I've always been very spiritual, to be honest. I was very sensitive as a child. I was, the dark sheep, and I was not fitting in my family. Just didn't know why I was so hypersensitive to energy. And I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. So that was kind of the first things, but it made me shy away from people, made me go and build a world of my own to feel safe there. So I connected always with my past loved ones, like grandparents. I had a lot of family members that actually passed away before I was born or while I was very young. So it's like if I knew they were there, even if I had never spoken to them before.
mhm.
And that's how I kind of started to do that. It was kind of just natural for me to connect with people that had crossed over. I think about them and ask them for support and things like that. And it's only very much around 2011 that I started to have my own energy work done for me and seeing a healer for myself and see what like all about past lives and things like that, and really started to dive into that. Um, and it's about 4 years later that I had the biggest dark night of the soul in my entire life, where everything crumbled, and remembered a very hard memory of sexual abuse that I have had, which was actually from someone in my family. So it was really hard, but it broke a part of me that was not me. It broke the ego part of me that I had created and this false sense of self I had, so that I can shine my light today and be really me and not be shy of being me and not being the people pleasing anymore and putting myself first finally. So that was kind of the breaking point of me starting to recognize I had gifts. I've been a social worker my whole life. So before I started this business, so I always loved helping people, but I didn't love the box I was in. I was in healthcare, addictions, and mental health were the specialization I had. And it's in 2020 that everything was like, well, you have the gifts now. So I did all of those courses, mediumship and trance healing. I did automatic writing. I did Reiki. I did so many different courses, Akashic Records. And I was just stunned that I was able to do that. So that's how it all came about. Yeah.
I love how when I talk with coaches, it it's kind of like you tend to like give us your credentials, but it's almost like, okay, I went to college and I specialized in this aspect, and this is kind of like the course curriculum that I followed in order to be able to be an authority in what I'm talking about.
Mm.
I have my it's not even like a degree, but it is a degree sort of, because you go and you learn these different modalities, but you put your own spin on them and they help you be a unique in the market, but B, it makes your light shine so much better. It's like you go and you get all your little aspects of your personality and what you're really here to do shined up so you're ready to shine your light.
Definitely. And it's, it's funny because I really know, like the first thing I did, which gave me the authority to leave my 3D job. I was a
Mhm.
manager back then, was I did a certification to become a coach, right? And that was like, my ego was like, with this paper, you can stop working for somebody else and you can start your own. And then finally, I've never really did that type of coaching that I actually
Mhm.
studied. It was just everything else, right? The healing part was really there, the reading oracle cards. And, as much as you use your gifts, they expand. More you give them light and energy, more they expand. And I was like, oh, okay. So I changed my title probably 6, 7 times already of like who I am and what I do. And I think when we start doing those courses, and that's why I do help spiritual entrepreneurs now, it's like, you have the gifts, but you're like, but what do I do with that now? Like, am I allowed to work in that field now? Like, am I certified enough to do that? And so many of us will wait to have so many certification, as you said, to feel okay and comfortable and owning the gifts and supporting other people. I've had a lot
Mhm.
of mentoring through all of the years as well, which I think is important because for me, my background was I always wanted to support people and make sure I was not creating more issues by whatever I was going to say, share the services, the resources I was going to share with them. It's the same with this work. I want my clients to come from A to B and feel supported and empowered. So there was some learnings for sure through all of those teachings that I've become connected to. And there was a point where my guys, they were just like, enough courses, Annabelle, enough spiritual teachers and gurus or whatever you want to call them. Connect to your higher self. You will be okay. And I had to completely unplug from social media, from all of the YouTube things. And it was just like, you have to anchor your gifts now. Like, can you trust yourself now? You've done enough. It's okay.
And you have so many unique things to bring. It's just like sometimes it's like I have all these certifications now. How do I put them all together? And you help people with that, spiritual people
Yeah,
particularly, because they have like the Reiki and they have the Akashic records and they have tarot or oracle cards or numerology or it's just like astrology or human design or it just goes on and on and on. But it's like, okay, I've got all these things. How do I put them together to actually make something that makes sense to other people?
exactly. And for me first, and I think that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I was like, I don't want to be a copycat of all of those teachers I have. I don't want to do that. I want to do my own thing and I want to bring everything that's the best for the client that's in front of me. If it's a past life that comes, it's a past life that's coming. If it's an inner child wound that's coming up, let's heal that. If it's energy healing, if it's the light language that I can share, I mean, like for me, it's like the more expended and the more free I become in this work, the better I feel. And I know that I'm supporting my clients that way even more than if I would be like just for me, just a Reiki practitioner. Like for me, it was too too small of it. I don't know. It just was
Container, yeah.
self-restricting. It was restricting to me. So that's what I'm asking people also. Like, do you have gifts? And what would you want? What is the best client for you? Because we're not the best client for everyone. And I think it's hard at first, even more so when we start our business, because we want to make money and we're like, okay, all of those people needs help and some of them don't have money. And I give a lot of freebies, and I just actually just ended a free inner child meditation I did in my group, and there's a lot of things I'd give for free, but at some point you need to learn to live earning money, right? You can't just give
Give it
everything
all
for free.
away.
Exactly. And I feel that's when you're actually gathering all of your teachings and you're really anchoring this connection with your higher self, your intuition, and you just see the impact on your clients. More and more you do that, you're like, I am powerful. The power I hold to help others, of course, they need to be ready. But I know my part, I'm doing it like 1,000% of what I could share with people. And I think that's really important to recognize how powerful the work we do is, to be able to make a pricing on it, because for me it took me over a year and a half to earn my first 10K. And that was a really rough a year and a half. I had no other jobs. And I had to like go and ask for food. Sometimes I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. It was not fun. And that's why I'm like, if I can help you 3 months and you get your first 10 clients, I'll be so happy. Like, let's do it. Like, can we just not linger in this poverty consciousness? This, like, how much am I going to be able to charge? Is it too much? And what about the people that don't have the money? The people that are ready for you will have the money to spend because you spent money on you too, right? We all
Mhm.
spend money on our courses and our healing. So it's the same for your clients.
And there's always somebody coming into the cycle. It's not like there's this pool of people and that's it. There's always people moving in and moving out and moving in and moving out. There's there's abundance everywhere, and there's always somebody who needs your help. The bigger
Exactly.
problem, I think, is becoming visible and knowing how to be visible, especially on social media. I can tell you how many people I go to their website. I know that they've got a workshop coming up. You can't find it anywhere on their profile, on any of their profiles. And I'm like,
Right. Yeah, there's
is this a
like
secret
technical
thing you're
things.
doing?
It's like I feel there's like so many parts, right? Owning your gifts, knowing that you got them, knowing that the right people will actually come to you because you're perfectly where you're supposed to be right now. And then there is also like, how am I to speak to this client, potential client of mine, which is something that we all have to learn. I mean, I was a social worker before. I didn't have to like knock at people's door to have clients. They were coming to me, right? Through the system, the healthcare system. But now I need to promote what I'm doing with the lens of what is my client needing, not just what I like doing. And it also like, how can I actually make sure that all of my platforms talk about what I'm doing? Because otherwise, of course, you're losing people. And there's so many people, and there's so many the social media, the way it's built, the algorithms and all of that, right? You have to be visible, as you say. If you don't post, I'm supporting people right now. I'm like, you gotta do this video, you gotta do this post, you gotta post this story, you gotta do something. If you don't do
And
anything, they won't know you exist. You want them
and
to
you
get
need
to know you, you want them to connect with your energy. You just do this. You have downloads. I know you do this video about this theme, do this master class, do this live, but do it. Not just leave it and then letting your mind telling you, what if nobody likes it? What if la 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 la?
and
Doing
when
it
you're
more.
out talking about it in groups or doing your videos, you need to make sure that your profile, the main thing, points back to what you're doing. Because, like I said, you can do all these things. You can post all your stuff in different groups and stuff. But when people go back to your profile, if they can't figure out how to join your community or become part of your workshop, get on your list so you can talk to them. And I'm a prolific emailer. You've been on my list. You know. I get people on a lot of different parts of my list. And so they can get 2 or 3 emails from me a day. I'm not going to even apologize for it. I set it up that way because I like talking to the people that are coming into my circle. You need to be like that for other people so you can let them know what you're doing. And if they're not interested, they can leave your list. It's okay. It's not a comment on you. It's a comment on they're just not in that space where they want to be working for you. They're never going to be your client, so don't worry about it. It's just like,
Exactly, exactly. And I'm being supported as well still, we need to have coaches and we need to get out of our comfort zone because there are still things in my business I need to grow into that's new for me. And I think having mentorship, that's also what it is, right? We're professional in this field. And as you said, like at first I didn't know what to share in my stories. I was like, I don't know. I don't want to tell them what I ate this morning, but like if it has nothing to do, but there's ways of building that so that it makes sense. It makes sense to you. You feel authentic in your messaging, and then people are like, oh, okay, this is nice. This is what she's doing. Okay, great. And then I'll come loop in if that's me. And if it's not, it's not. And I'm changing a lot my business because I've been helping a lot of people on their own journey of healing. I'm still helping them, but we have more of a focus with their building their business now. So that's a big shift of like, if you want to start your business, we're going to go through all of the things because you're going to have a lot of things and triggers coming up when you start your business. And I want to be there for you. So you're not alone with that. So I know that my followers will change because I'm talking about this specific thing that I'm doing now. I'm not talking about everything else. So, and we have to be okay. As you said, the people that unfollow you, the people that are not relating to your content, well, they don't have to be there because, as you said, they're not your client anyway. Right.
It just makes space for something else. We get in this habit, and it really is just a habit of wanting to collect stuff and people and things and likes and things that we think are indications of abundance. But abundance is really the letting go. It comes in the release, and it's a mindset more than anything, but it's just letting things be and flow and come into your life and out of your life and into your life and out of your life. And you pass it on. You may help somebody that can't afford to pay you, or you don't even ask for payment for certain things you do. Like, I don't ask for payment for people to come on my podcast, but I make connections with people, and you might not be my ideal client, but you might know somebody else who is, and you know me, and you can say, hey, if you're interested in that, go talk to Jill. I might find people, and I do this all the time, that are just like, oh God, you just got to go see Annabelle. She's going to sort you right out. It's just
Yeah.
like, it's getting out and talking and networking and meeting people and just sharing who you are. And
I know. I love what you're saying because I'm really about complementing each other. I also have a podcast. I do it on my YouTube channel and I invite spiritual entrepreneurs. That's exactly what I do too. And I know that people are going to watch, maybe they're going to be connecting to that other person for the specific thing that they're offering that I don't offer or whatever. And that's good. I mean, we have so many people, and I think it's good for us to also practice sharing about what we're doing because we need to expand our consciousness. As you said, expanding our message to a wider audience, and also remembering, as you said, like there's so many things that are said about social media, about numbers of followers. You follow somebody that has certain amount and you think they're more successful than you, but what is success to you? That's the most important part. I know that if I'm with my clients and they smile at the end and they get results and they get their first clients, I mean, this is so exciting. This is what I want to see. And then the block that they kept having is just dissolving, and they're just shining, and they're like, okay, I'm not scared anymore. I'm gonna do it. And they do it. That's the payment for me. That's what is like the most important. So it's not, I think if we have less people maybe that follow us, but the right people, and then they're ready to work with us, and it's a win-win. It's a win-win for both. And it's the same with, as you said, like we connect with others. We all have so many beautiful gifts, right? You're special in your own way, and I'm special in my own way, and everybody else is. And there is space for all of us. What I find a lot in the clients that I have, yeah, but there's so many healers out there. Yeah, but there's not you. You're not out there. And you have,
I'll
working in
have
the
to,
Akashic records, you have soul contracts to support people, darling. So go and get out there so that they find you and that you get on with those contracts. And I'm not saying that to be scared. It's just like you're here on a mission. It's not just your life, but this is part of your life. Well, do what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
yeah. And part of that is turning your light on so other people can see.
Exactly. It's like when you want a relationship, the guy or the girl of your dream is not gonna knock at your door. It's the same with your clients. You gotta get out there and you gotta speak to people. And the most important is creating connections. I think, and even more so, like people that have their own spiritual business, not everyone, I'm not gonna let anyone do a healing on me anymore. Like I was like that before, but now it's like I need to have a conversation. I need to know like what you're doing and if the energy is right for me. It's like that's you need to create connections. You need to actually be authentically you, and those that will fall off, it's just because they were not meant to work with you. But the other people just stick around and they want to get to know you, and they care about the message you're sharing. Those are the people that you want to nourish.
Yeah. And those are the people that you're here to help. And you just you just need to put yourself out there, be authentically you, and share what you're doing. And the people that are meant to work with you will find a way to work with you. And don't be afraid to ask for money,
Yeah,
compensation.
there's so much around that in there. Beautiful spiritual community. Oh my God, right? Even I remember the first times I had to ask. Well, I did a lot of free
Mhm,
readings, of course.
mhm,
And then at some point I was like, well, okay, I'm gonna charge $40. Okay, like it was like just small increments and I felt bad about it. I had to work with this lack and this fear of charging for money so much.
mhm.
And this is something we look into in my mentorship too, because you can get out there and say like, yeah, and then when you have the sale call or when somebody is about to, you have to share how much it costs, you need to say it, you need to send the link, and you need to be able to receive the money, right? It's all intertwined. Yeah, it's very important. And it's okay because imagine if all of the light workers on this planet were the healthiest people, how this planet would be changed today.
Yeah, that's a other reason why I do what I do. It's because I really believe that there are light workers out there and they need to get their message out. And for the most part, they don't. It's sad, but
Exactly. And I think that that was kind of something that came up in the last year. It was like enough being like in the closet, not being sure, like whatever what they say, whatever happens. It's your path, you know it in your heart. Stop like blocking this flow because you're gonna still continue to feel like crap because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing and you know it in your heart. So let's get loose, let's share your message, and let's do it in a way that makes it profitable for you. We nobody wants to be a light worker and not have enough money to pay their bills. There's nothing fun in that. And it's hard if you're actually in lack in your own self, in your own business. How can you help others if you're
mhm.
already like in this anxiety yourself? So it's really important. And I think I'm glad
You
that you're
draw in other people who are also in that anxiety and they don't get
exactly.
results. That's what happens.
Exactly. So you're like, oh man, I wish I would have more money. Oh man, I have to track all of these people that don't have the money to pay me. And it's just like keeps you luck in this reality. And I believe, I would say, a lot of people just they stop. They go back to a 3D work, they go back to whatever because it's safer, but they haven't faced the fears, right? The fears of like they haven't healed what needed to be healed. And it's a shame because there was people that you could have helped and you could have helped yourself because you probably can tell as much as me that when you start your spiritual business, it's not just a walk in the park. It's going to make you grow. It's going to make you expand, but you're going to have to go deep in the shadow work. You're going to have to go in all of those drawers and let go of what doesn't serve you because otherwise it will block you in your expansion for sure.
Yeah. And you really do need to hire people to help you. You can figure it out all by yourself, I'm sure. But in the long run, it's going to cost you more, and you're probably going to end up being in a 3D job. And it kind of gets to be a catch 22 because, you're paying for an education. And, people go into hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt to get a college education. You're not doing anything different. You're starting a business, and businesses don't generally get started for free. I know MLMs are out there that say, oh, you can get started for just, 99.99. But what you're doing is you're reselling somebody else's product for a very small amount of money when you could be selling your own services, which have such great value for people, and asking a living wage for it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's why, right? You need to know that it's okay to invest. Like I invest in coaches and in support and in so many things because I didn't know. I had no idea how to start that. I was like, I am gifted, but I have no idea what to start on any level. I don't know how to make a post that looks good. I don't know how to create my business on my website. I don't even know how to make a payment gateway. So like there was the technical and then how to present myself and everything else we spoke before. So if you don't have, we're lighthouses for people that need help and healing and everything, but you also need your own light house for you. It's going to show you an easier way to get there. Like, why does it have to be so difficult? And I think a lot of us have this programming, right? Work hard. But what if you
Yeah.
would have somebody that would hold your hand and help you all every step of the way? I think if we stop growing and we stop healing ourselves, we stop having coaches, we also stop what we could give to others. We're all a ripple of each other.
Mhm. And helping each other get our light out and share the message and really make a difference that we're here to make. So how do you work with people, Annabelle? Do you work with them one-on-one? Do you work with them in communities? How does all that look?
So I have like a more, still have my healing little like card reading group on Facebook. I still have that. But I'm moving towards like a spiritual entrepreneur group that I'm just starting now. So if you want to join that, you'll be able to. We'll share the link. So just add me on Facebook and I'll talk to you about it. There is what I do is the both of them. I do one-on-one coaching for 3 months to start your business, or I do group for the same thing. It's just, of course, if you're one-on-one, it costs more than if you're actually in a group setting. It's over 3 months, both of them. And it's really getting from scratch where you're like, okay, I know all of this, but we're going to refine your offers. We're going to refine like, what is your messaging? Who's your ideal client? Like, how are you going to get out there and make, and I'm in a coach mode. So, which means you got to do it. Like there's things that it's okay. We're going to heal the things that comes, as I said earlier, that comes through because starting your business is going to bring a lot of the shadow, the inner child, and whatever wounds on the surface, but there's also things to do so that you see the result, right? If you're just waiting for things to happen, I'm not your person. You're going to have to work with me. We work together so that you shine your light. And so that at the end of those 3 months working together, you have your own business set up and you have your own clients. You have 10 clients signed up with you and you start and you continue on. That's the goal.
That's awesome. And I know from experience, because I too have coaches, that sometimes you think something's going to look one way and it's going to look totally different than you anticipate.
Yeah, and then you know what? I think that's what's beautiful about our work. That's why we're in this work. I changed, as I said, I changed my titles. How many programs did I do already? And I'm glad to be somewhere else because it makes me feel expanded because I feel like there's never an end to it. I'm not like start, repeat, start, repeat, start, repeat. I'm doing something different with different gifts, that's different exciting things that happens, have new gifts, new knowledge. That's what. So yes, you're gonna start with, oh, I think I'm gonna be a Reiki practitioner, and then 3 months, 2 months, not even. A few weeks later, it's gonna be like, no, really? Oh, I didn't think that. It's actually happened this week because I was completing one of my groups, and then this lady, she brought out this beautiful program, and I was like, wow, this is so you. Finally, you got it now. Now she's sharing it, and this is, I know, like it's exactly her. But she needed to go through the process of letting go of this is what I learned, and I learned this. I need to put that together. No, what do you want to do? What do you feel you're good at doing? This is what is your fire, not all of your titles and the certificates that you have.
Mhm. I started out as a life coach.
Right, exactly. Mine was like manifestation coach. I think it was the title, first title I had. And I mean, yes, we're still using that, right? Because it's impossible to
Yeah.
like untangle of those things because
They become
it's work we do.
incorporated into who you are, and that's
Right.
just what you share.
But now and I think there's so much power in taking all of those courses and bringing it in. And then you're like, ooh, this is me. I can do all of those things. And I don't have, nobody's going to tell you don't do what you're supposed to be doing. It's your business. Beautiful. So,
Yeah,
like, share your gifts and do it the way you want to do it because you know that's the way that's going to serve best your clients.
exactly. Exactly. So we've covered how you do it. How do people get in touch with you? What's the best way to reach you?
So my name is Annabelle with two N's and two L's and an E at the end. Ivaya, Ivaya, and you can actually connect with me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm mostly always on Facebook, so that's where you're gonna see most of my stuff there. And you can message me. Private messages are perfect for me because then I can see how I can support you. And I have my website. It's newly a new domain that I have, which is www.annabelleivaya.love. So it's easy. If you know my name and you add .love, you'll be able to go to my website. As I said earlier, there's groups and things like that that you can join. And I have a membership, which is a membership where I've been channeling for over 2.5 years now. Beautiful meditations. At first, the first one, I had it written down. It didn't last. So now we this year we really connect to each other. We're a community, so we connect to each other. We see the energies. We're like just having a talk about what's going on this planet because we all know that 2024 was an intense year so far, and it will still continue on, I feel. And then there's always this healing together, the group healing. And then this membership has probably over 80 or 90 meditations now and healing journeys that you can use on your own time. So if that's something that calls you, you can just message me on look on my website. It's there. It's called Starseed Gathering.
I love that. I, I could wander off into the starseed thing, but we'll save that for another time.
I know that was eye-opening for me. It was very important in my actually anchoring my gifts and remembering who I am and connecting with higher beings. Yeah, we'll leave it at that, but it was very, very powerful connections. I'm very happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I really enjoyed this conversation. I'm going
Me
to ask you,
too.
what's the one thing that you hope the audience takes away from what we've discussed today?
I want you to remember that maybe you've gone through a lot of trauma like I did. If you ever want to read my story, I have a book. Look Annabelle Ivaya on Amazon, by the way. But the trauma you went through can become your fuel. It doesn't have to keep you stuck in a cage. And the hypersensitivity you have is a gift. It's not something to put away and to be shying away from because it's a superpower. And you can learn to use that to better the life of your clients, better your own life and your own decision making by listening to your intuition. And if your gifts are just bubbling inside of you and you have all of those things and you don't know what to do with them, we'll reach out, we'll make a plan and we'll make it work for you because you're worth doing what you want to do on this planet. All of the light workers, we're here to break the matrix from within, not from without. So we're here to do it and you are worthy of so much more joy. Allow yourself to be in the joy frequency. Please stop being so serious. Have
Love
fun
it.
and connect to your heart.
Thanks, Annabelle.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the U World Order Showcase podcast. Remember, if you would like to be featured on this podcast as a life, health, or transformational coach, please visit www.jointheuworldorder.com. We look forward to talking to you next time as we present another life, health, or transformational coach being the change they seek in the world.